this is Tom from Exodus, and you're listening to The Dan Chance Show.
Hey Tom, how are you today, mate?
I'm doing awesome. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks for asking. So, firstly, how are you? You gave the metal community such a scare with your cancer diagnosis came through. But we're all so emotional. I was so emotional myself with relief when the all clear came through. How is everything regarding that at the moment?
It's really good. I mean, the doctors are cautiously optimistic. They say there's, good reasons to celebrate right now.
Awesome.
All the margins they're looking at, like numbers wise, like everything in there looks good. They took my stomach, and a bunch of lymph nodes, and they couldn't find any cancer in the lymph nodes. And I'm lucky, dude.
Awesome.
Science.
Exactly.
Science.
Exactly, science. And were there any hairy moments, or was it always quite a strong diagnosis for recovery?
Oh man, I was terrified at the beginning of it, and I just had a meeting with one of the surgeons, because I had two things going on. I had a tumor in my stomach, and I also had little nodules of mesothelioma, which is a different type of cancer, that were on my abdominal wall. So when they were looking around to inspect the other cancer, they saw these little nodules, and he thought that was originally he thought that was the same cancer I had in my stomach, and they're totally unrelated.
Wow.
But if that was the case, I would have been stage 4, and stage 4 is pretty much,
Christ.
not good.
Yeah.
So, I had this weird curveball with this other affliction, and it ended up being the thing that made me a candidate to get the surgery.
Wow.
So, it's been a journey for sure.
I can believe it. And one last thing, you must have been so touched by the metal community's GoFundMe page to help you with your medical bills. But they all came together for you.
Unbelievable. I just can't even. I don't even know what to say, or like how to jump in and just thank everybody. Everyone knows how I feel about it. The good news is I have more time to to get on with my life and do things, and just, there's angels walking around everywhere, and they're definitely in our community too. And they
exactly.
they don't even know their purpose until they get a call, So it's kind of a beautiful thing.
Well, you're a true inspiration, mate. So I'm glad.
Thanks, dude.
Glad to be talking to you. So let's get down to the music. You're releasing your.
I'm happy to be anywhere.
Yeah. So let's get down to the music. You're releasing your 11th studio album, Persona Non Grata, on November.
That's right.
On November the 19th. I've heard it. It's everything I wanted, and I'm sure everyone will want as well. Are you excited for the release?
Fucking unbelievable. Yeah, I'm beyond stoked. I think Gary coming back, and COVID, and just the state of the world, it couldn't have been a better time to make a metal record.
Yeah,
we were all pretty inspired, and it kind of shows in the performances and the songs, and they all got hooks and rhythms, and we just had a blast to make. I can't remember having more fun recording a record.
That's so cool.
And
I
did it.
Go on.
I did it in my own house.
Well, this is it. I'm gonna come to that in a minute. But obviously, Gary Holt writes mostly everything, and with his previous Slayer commitments slowing down new material, did any resentment creep in? Come on, man, let's get this going. No,
not at all. I mean, I was very supportive of him doing what he did with Slayer. I think, I think they could have made more productive use of his time.
Yeah.
If he wrote a couple riffs on their last record, it might have been a better record for them. But we'll take those riffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
We take them and we eat them.
Yeah, I love it. And for the guys,
no, we had fun. We had
awesome.
So much fun making this music. So.
Well, for the guys listening, vocalist Steve said recently that it's not a nice album. Can you explain what he meant by this?
I think, we're coming off the heels, getting sucked out of what we do. We're coming off the heels of doing a really good tour with Testament and Death Angel.
I'll come to that as well.
And quite frankly, a tour we would have still been on had COVID not hit. That said, though, COVID kind of locked in our focus, because all right, the world's shut down. What can we do? What can we control? We can still make music. so that we could control. I have a house in Northern California in the mountains. Where can we do it? That's a good place. Nobody wants to mess around in the city right now. So we were basically guys quarantined together, you know, in the mountains, like making metal. So all the planets kind of aligned. Maybe it's not a nice record. It's definitely a kind of a how we feel about the times record. Doing what we can. It was fun, and I think everybody just jumped in and like creatively had all these ideas. And Gary was on a fucking tear. Like that dude rolled out of bed one day and wrote an amazing song. Tracked it that day for me to make drum parts to, and basically had the nucleus of a song in about 5 minutes. You know, amazing. Like it was inspiration, and I hate to use such a hippie word, but it was very organic.
Yeah, that's a hippie word.
It happened. Yeah.
So how was the recording process? Because I've got to say, apparently you were carpeting the walls with staple guns, you know, click, click. And I understand it was more of a home recording with a DIY twist. You know, how was it? How was that whole thing? You know, not being in a professional studio, no disrespect, but not being at home as well. It must have given you more time to breathe on it.
Well, absolutely. And for me personally, because, you know, it was a lot of DIY involved, but, you know, and we've done it that way before in other places, but we've always done guitars like that way. Yeah. Drums would always be done in a proper studio.
Yeah.
But this time we talked to Andy Sneap, our producer,
I know, yeah.
And he said we could do drums anywhere. So we're like, oh yeah, you want to come to California? And then COVID hit. So we ended up bringing out Steve Lagudi, who works with Machine Head on a lot of their live things. And he's like, yeah, man, New Yorker guy. He's like, yeah, I got all this folk here. I could bring out 2 pallets of freaking microphones and stacks of this and that and compressors and blah, blah, blah. And dude, August 26, 2020, this truck backs down my driveway up there. And like, we were building a studio that day, a DIY, and it's my favorite drum sound ever. Yeah. And like for me, because like usually I lay down my tracks first, so like I have about 7 or 8 days
and they're locked
to do
in.
My shit.
And I'm a drummer myself. I've done it myself. I'm a drummer. You know that they're locked in. You can't change them.
And this record, you can call it cheating. You can call it anything you wanted. I call it like whenever inspiration hits you, you could do whatever you want. You know, I would, like you said, I had time to like sit and listen to it and sit on it. And like, if I hear a part of the riff, I'm like, I could have done something better to nuance that little section of riffs. Like, I'd be, yo, Steve, let's go down there and do this little part on blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, we weren't under any time constraints. I wasn't. Nobody was. So we had time to.
It was all recorded at your place then?
Yeah. Yep, every bit of it.
And everyone stayed at yours? Have you got many bedrooms?
We opened up my house, and I have like an RV outside my house that Jack stayed in. He made a little studio in there.
Amazing.
And then my cousin has a house down the road. It's kind of in the mountains in Northern California, like way up in the sticks. And we rented my cousin's house as an Airbnb to kind of relieve the strain on my house, you know. Yeah. Gary stayed at my house, and Steve Lagudi, the engineer. All 3 of us stayed there pretty much the whole sessions.
Do you think you'll do that again?
I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
Really?
From now on.
Really?
I mean, the drum tone on it.
Oh, it's mint.
It sounds better than anything we've ever gotten in a big studio with room mics and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And like you said, we were literally tacking up carpet.
Yeah.
I would hit the cymbals. We would go look at the sound wave bars or whatever Steve was doing. I couldn't tell you. I'm not very technical, but
that's funny.
He's like, we gotta nail another piece of fabric. What do you got? I'm like, I don't know, maybe a quilt that my aunt made me in 1978.
That's funny.
Nail it to the wall.
Get it up. That's brilliant. And is it still like that? Have you taken it down? Have you still got that set up?
I left some of it up.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty big fire in Northern California a while back.
Yeah.
So I still had the recording drums and everything set up. Yeah. Even after my surgery, I was like, there's no reason to tear it down.
Yeah.
I'll go up there and practice on them drums at some point.
Yeah.
And 2 days after my surgery, the fire hits, or 2 days after I got released from the hospital, and I got a scar, dude. It goes all the way down from my breastplate to my lower belly button.
Ooh.
And a guy who texts for us sometimes, Kevin Young, calls me up and says, "Hey, man," he lives in Northern Cali too, and he said, "There's a fire and it's moving towards your place." I'm like, "I know, I heard."
Okay.
He's like, "Is there anything I could do?" I said, "Yeah, go rescue some drums, guns, and guitars out of my house." And he mobilized, went and got the drums, and so I got the drums with me now in San Francisco. But I brought my old black Yamahas back up there, and it's all good now.
Yeah, cool.
Our place didn't burn. We got lucky.
That's good. Awesome.
You know, for as crazy a year as it's been, there's been a lot of really good dumb luck too to go with it. You know.
Well, we like that. Now
We'll take that.
A little bit of my history. The last show I went to before the pandemic kicked in was your tour with Testament and Death Angel in Barcelona, and I actually believe that show gave me COVID at the end of February last year.
No shit.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think some of you guys suffered, didn't you, after Barcelona or during that time?
I don't know the wheres and the whens. The people got it. All I can tell you is I felt sick on arriving to Europe on February 5th.
Yeah.
And I was sick for exactly 8 days. And it was a fevery kind of respiratory thing. And other people from the tour got it.
Yeah.
And then when we got home, Will from Death Angel almost died from it.
Yeah, I know. I followed that as well. I was pretty lucky there.
And me and him were like every night, like raging. And he's a spitter when he's been drinking.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm pretty sure some of those droplets came.
I'm pretty sure. So, talking about the road, are you excited to be getting back on the road? I mean, in so many ways, it's going to be extra special for you personally, not only through the pandemic, but your own personal health journey. But you've had John Tempesta filling in for you after your surgery. When are you getting back on the throne? How's it going?
I actually played the Aftershock Festival a week and a half ago.
Awesome. Yes, I did see that. Yeah, that's cool. And was that your first show?
Yeah, felt great.
Yeah.
You know, I had to basically check my emotions because everybody was there and they were well wishing and I loved it. It was a beautiful moment. But I had to go do my job and I was like, we'll hug this out later. Let me stay brutal right now.
Yeah. So what was it like? What was it like playing drums after the surgery? How was it difficult to get moving, or was it? How was it?
It was easier than I thought. Actually, I was worried about my core because,
of course,
they literally had to cut into my core and probably had my guts all out on a tray to inspect and fix things and remove things. But I was worried, going around the kit, how that would feel. But it all felt okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get. I think more than anything, I felt the rust of a 21-month layoff, and But I went to the mountains, back to where we recorded. And I practiced every day for 2 hours, the hardest Exodus music there is to play. Long songs that are 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was my workout regimen. And I kind of jammed those. And I was like, if I could play those, I could play Piranha or Bonded by Blood all day. So anyway, so that was my regimen, and I just kind of did push-ups. I didn't stress on anything. I just I was like, I felt like because they got all the cancer, they didn't have to give me the outro doses of chemo that I was slated for, which was a surprise. When I heard that, I was like, wait, you mean I could, rejoin my life and go back to the band and play these shows? And my doctor was like, get your ass out there, do it. I'm like, all right. So, it was playing live was beautiful. I don't take this for granted, what we get to do in life, We're lucky.
Was it super emotional, the Aftershock Festival?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Zed was saying some stuff on stage and I was back there going, cut it out, dude.
Yeah.
Trying to be brutal back here. But no, it was amazing. It couldn't have been a better day, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It felt good to get back out there, and it felt good to do normal things in my abnormal routine again, So I'm looking forward to next month.
Exactly. So historically, how proud are you to be from the Bay Area scene and being one of the founding members?
I think I'm pretty proud of it, I guess. I mean, we're from a small group of bands that kind of kicked the door in for a type of style of music, I guess. But we were just kids learning how to play our instruments and very influenced by punk rock and Cro-Mags, Discharge, tons of English bands. Clive Burr, Iron Maiden, early Iron Maiden, like all that stuff. It was just like, and when you're that age, when you're like 15, 16, it's like you're a sponge. And I think we were just kind of like just playing Barracuda, like sped up.
That's funny.
With a dash of Discharge.
Did you enjoy the docu-film Murder in the Front Row?
I loved it.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty much.
It was an Exodus film.
It was a spot-on story of our early life.
Awesome. And you're such a solid brotherhood, almost family with each other. At any point, do you look back and think, how the hell are we still going? Or did you always know that Exodus was a forever band?
No, I wouldn't have said forever band, because like we've had the roller coaster of drug addiction and death, and I mean, when I was 20, did I think I would make it to 35? When I was 35, did I think I'd make it to 50? Did I think I'd still be doing this? Chances are no. I'm happy to say we are, and we're having fun and still making like super awesome, relevant music, I think. And
Indeed.
And as a younger man, I think I love the party aspect of it. As an older man, I respect the journey aspect of it a lot more.
That's cool.
And what's left of the journey, because let's face it, the fuse is shorter on where it all stops than where it all started.
Yeah, of course.
So,
of course.
But we love what we do, man. We're lucky to still be doing it.
I know you have to play these songs at festivals, and you probably get your kick from not festivals but tours as well. You probably get your kicks from listening back. But do you ever sit back and listen to like Bonded by Blood and like reminisce and just chill out and just listen back to that history?
Actually, all the time when I practice, because like I practice different genres of Exodus music, along with Discharge and even this band Del Castillo that I've been jamming to lately. But I have days where like, I'm going to sit down with Rob Dukes today and play Exhibit B, or or today's a Bailoff day. Let's go way back.
Yeah.
I don't really ruminate on listening to the albums in their entirety, like the catalog or whatever. There's 11 records, man. That's a lot of shit to sit through.
And this is like an hour-long record. This one's an hour long, isn't it? I mean, it's great. You get your bang for your buck. Now, we don't get many drummers on the show, and as a drummer myself, I like to be indulgent. So firstly, what drummers inspired you, and who do you admire?
Oh, man. The list is long. I mean, there's all the usuals. Pert, Bonham, Moon.
Yeah.
I think some of the outliers are definitely Clive Burr, big influence. Kim Ruse from Early Merciful Fate.
Yeah.
Definitely an influence on me. A lot of funk drummers. Michael DeRozier, who played with Heart. He was like a Bonham kind of. Danny Carmassi, who also played with Heart. He played with Gamma and Randy Montrose also. Tommy Aldridge, of course.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, there's quite a list, actually.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, drumming is like a sport, and as old as we get, me and you, we're all getting older. What do you do to keep fit and be able to keep up with that ferocious attack? I mean, there's no let up, is there?
Not really.
Stamina.
I think the only way to do it is to keep doing it, and for one thing, and I don't do anything special. Like I don't, I'm not one of those. What's that exercise program that's crazy that everybody does?
Oh, like the HIIT stuff, like the high intensity.
Throwing the big ball around, I don't know that aggressive. I don't do any aggressive workouts.
No.
I hike in the mountains at about 5,000 feet elevation.
Good for the lungs.
I play
stamina.
Yeah, I play drums up there too, and I chop a lot of wood. I throw it around like Rocky and Rocky 4. That's what I call it when I'm getting ready for a tour or whatever. I call it my Rocky 4 workout.
I love
you
it.
know?
I love it. I love it. So touring wise, are you coming back to Europe soon? What's next year looking like?
April, we're doing a States run of Bass Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine new album out. All the European festivals are going to be calling.
Great.
I think that's already being put in motion. Bloodstock and
Brilliant.
Bloodstock's my favorite big one in England.
Yeah, it's a great festival. It's a great festival.
I mean, what's the other one? Download. Download's killer, but I feel like it's such a detachment from the crowd. You know.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Bloodstock is very personal.
Some of our best England shows, though, lately have been the club shows, and you know, I don't know what's like. It's weird, like the way the music is hot in some areas and ice cold in other areas. Like, dude, we used to not be able to buy a good gig in France.
No, it's tough.
Or England for years. Like some of our last tours, I think we did 17 shows in England alone, and maybe 7 in France. I'm like, something's going on over there, but I like it. You know.
Yeah. Europe's fantastic now. So
and people are more mental than ever about it.
Yeah, of course. Especially now, you pull the cord now, and everyone's going to be at gigs. This is going to go crazy. And considering you were my last gig that I went to, I need some gigs. You know.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry about the COVID thing.
It's all right, mate. I'll let you off. Definitely.
How did you do with that? Were you okay?
No, it's all right. Actually, it's very mild. Just a very mild case, but it lasted for like 2 months or so, just there coughing. But it was fine. It was a metal one, so it was fine. You know, it was like it was a metal COVID.
I know some other folks in England that lost like close friends and relatives.
Yeah, horrendous. Anyway, so what does the future hold for Exodus? You know, you're clearly going full throttle. What are you thinking?
We're just gonna see what 2022 like deals us, and you know, we're on the heels, we're on the cusp of this release of this record, so we're excited about that, and we're excited to come back to Europe for sure.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
And definitely England, a bunch of English shows too in there, I'm sure. We don't really have a plan.
No, it's good that maybe Gary might get his ass back in, you know, like writing gear for when he's not in Slayer anymore. He'll be keen to get your studio going again.
Oh man, Gary was on a tear on this record. Like I said, he's rolled out of bed with a song, and you know, I got guitars laying around all over my house, and he was like, man, it feels so good to be in the mountains. I can just reach out and pick up a guitar anywhere I'm at. And yeah.
Awesome. So finally, have you got any messages for the Exodus fans out there who cannot wait to hear the new album and see you on the road?
Just thanks for waiting. Sorry, we had this COVID thing we're dealing with. Just be careful out there, and get the fucking shot so we can all go back to work.
That's right.
That's a big divisive thing over here right now going on.
Same, it's everywhere.
And you know, my wife is from Peru originally, and her family came up here. Her family basically booked a Florida vacation so they could come and get the shot. They hung out in Florida for 2 weeks, got the second shot, went home.
Really?
Because things are terrible down there.
Wow.
You know?
Wow, that's crazy.
They couldn't get so we're so entitled, and like,
yeah.
The only thing that's going to happen to you if you get the shot is you might not get super sick. So
that's
just
right.
Get it.
Just get it.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Tom.
But you know, can't convince people.
Exactly. Well, we try.
Yeah.
Tom, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a total pleasure and an honor, my friend.
Thank you, bro. Pleasure talking to you.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.